going on, everybody? How are you? If you're catching me live, hello, good evening. My name is Linda Hales, and I am a sales and enrollment coach, and I help speakers, coaches, and experts master the art of selling, specifically social selling, so that they can hit multiple five-figure months and change their life. Because if you have money in the bank, I think that's a pretty cool life. There might be other stresses in your life that you have, but money's not one of them. And so if you've watched me for some time now or not, if this is your first time, then I'm going to let you know. If you're sitting here watching me and you're telling me that money can't buy love and money can't buy a lot of things, money could actually buy health. Money can buy you a great doctor. If you need some type of organ transplant, you can get on top of the list with some money. You can get you a new organ quicker, which maybe if you had to wait 3 years, you're not going to make it to the organ. So money can buy a whole lot of things that poverty cannot buy. So I believe that money is great. And so tonight I wanted to talk about the women in the Bible who are weak, who are soft, who are victims, because there's none. And so, and how that relates to you if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're just watching because, hey, somebody told you about Linda and this is great. You got my email today and I asked you to be here live and watch it. For whatever your reason, you're in for a treat because we're really going to get into it. So go ahead and share the live stream because this is going to be a good one tonight. And I know that a bunch of you are watching, so a bunch of you have some other friends that need to hear this tonight. I wrote a post earlier and I wasn't being funny. I know that people know that I'm usually loud and sarcastic, but I wasn't being funny when I told you that I grew up in church and that because of that, I know the Bible like the back of my hand. And growing up in church, I grew up basically with ultra religious parents in an ultra religious home with all of the ultra religious beliefs that are taught to us. And those beliefs turn into limitations as we get older, right? Because, and specifically, I'm talking about there's a whole bunch. I could do a series on a daily on a different limiting belief that we picked up from our well-meaning parents and our well-meaning pastors and our well-meaning churches, but those things don't serve us. For example, it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man. Really? So we hang on to that. And somehow we accepted that, it's not good to be rich. It's not good to be rich because, having a lot of money is going to make you be ostentatious and it's going to make you be, you won't be humble, so humility is equal in a lot of Christians' minds to, well, rich people aren't humble. Okay. Right. So I can't be rich or I can't brag about something that I did because then that's being full of yourself. That's being proud. And so having a level of pride that is sinful, a level of pride that makes you a jerk, a level of pride that makes you plot against people. Now we're leaving pride, but you need to feel proud. You need to have achieved some things so that you can experience what feeling proud is, because it's a wonderful feeling. And God created you to go achieve things and be proud. Do you think that King David wasn't proud of all of the wars that he won? He wasn't proud of being such an attractive man. He wasn't proud. I mean, he was like God's favorite. Oh man, and he was so worldly, and he was a cheater, and he was a murderer. He could not build a temple because his hands were stained with blood. And God knew this. God knew that he was the dude to go kill some folks because it couldn't be Samuel. It could but no, that's awful, and we can't be proud. You think Samson wasn't proud? You don't think that you kill a giant with a little rock and you can't be proud of that? Man, get out of here. So we are raised in church all the time, listening to these crazy beliefs. And I am not a man, I'm a woman. And as a woman who grew up in a very Christian home, you know what? Hold on. Let me be like professional and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Bam. I got y'all the little scrolling thing in the bottom. So you can share your city and state and where you're from. Share the broadcast and tell us your comments below, because I have a moderator tonight, so I won't miss any of your comments or your questions. So as a woman growing up in church, I was affected by the beliefs, those beliefs that were man-made, that were things that are in the Bible that were twisted out of proportion to benefit the people that want to control. Okay, so religion and all religions, but specifically Christianity, and this is not a scope or a live stream about the history of Christianity, but if you want to look back and back in history, then you will know that it has always been in place to control the masses. So when it is still being used for that today as well. So when I grew up in a home where my parents were totally bought in to man-made rules that are twisted from biblical teachings, I suffered greatly for that, right? So if you know me, and if you don't know me, I'm about to tell you, when I was 16, I got pregnant, and my parents decided that they were going to pull me out of school because they didn't want to be embarrassed by me being pregnant. Because if they have a pregnant daughter, then that means that they suck as parents, right? And so guess what, everybody? Look what I'm watching right here. Already the viewers are dropping off. Why? Because I'm saying things that, you know, some religious person that was watching was like, you know, that doesn't feel right. That's the enemy speaking tonight. I'm not listening to that. You know, I rebuke her in the name of Jesus. Get off my stream, because tonight, if you watch this live stream, you're going to see things from a different perspective. And if you are that ultra religious person and I'm triggering you, instead of getting off the stream, do like I teach my children. Be open to a new idea. Be open to seeing things differently. Because if you're watching the stream and you're a Christian and you just lost your job, or you filed for unemployment, or you are on food stamps, you need to be watching this live stream tonight, because that is not what God designed for you. He did not want that for you. And so specifically tonight, I'm talking to women because I am a woman and I suffered trauma of religion because, you know, as a woman. And I'm going to speak to all the women that are watching tonight that consider themselves Christian women, women of God, and have trouble charging for whatever they're selling, for whatever services they do, for whatever it is that they do. They're dreaming of a business, right? Dreaming of businesses is great, but action is what makes businesses happen. And if you don't know what actions to take, you have to go find someone to do it. But the first thing you have, you know, to help you figure it out. But the first thing you have to do is you have to take action. So I'm going to get right into my teachings tonight in our church. If somebody wants to collect the offering, y'all can go ahead and collect the offering. We're not going to collect the tithes tonight because it's not Sunday, but Sunday, make sure that you tithe. Let me know if there, let me see if there's any comments. Oh, snap. Let me read some comments before I keep going. Let me see. Fort Myers, Florida, in the house. What's up, Rika? I used to be religious. Almost killed me. Preach, Natasha said. Mariam said, I love this topic. Awesome. Offering. That's right. Oh, from Katy, Texas. Come on, everybody. Let me know who's watching and let me know where you're from. So we're going to start with some very familiar names, and then we'll get into some other names in the Bible that we're not too familiar with. And I got notes on my computer, so every now and then it's going to look like I'm not looking at the camera because I'm looking at my notes. All right, so check it out. We got Esther, the first woman of the Bible, the Woodlands. Come roll. Hey, Dee Dee, what's up, Woodlands? So Esther was a young Jewish woman living in exile in Persia. Okay. She was a young Jewish woman living in exile. You know what that means? She wasn't supposed to be there. It means that there was a Trump over there trying to build a wall, so she couldn't, so she had to be like, they had to be careful, okay? I don't know how many of you know this, but Esther was an orphan, and she was raised by her cousin, Mordecai, okay? She was an orphan, so dang, man. She was young. She was an orphan. She had no parents, and nobody stand up for her. So she was poor. Okay. Now, the story is long. King Xerxes, he was already married. He had a queen, but his queen wasn't willing to obey him anymore. Now, the Bible says that Queen Esther, well, before she was the queen, Esther was lined up with other beautiful women. She was very beautiful, so she was chosen in a, you know, in a group of women that were to go before the king. The king test drove the virgins. Okay, if they were virgins, they were lined up first, and the king was about 40. He test drove the virgins, and if he found that he liked them, then they would become his part of his concubines. But he test drove her, so meaning that she was an orphan, she was there alone, she was poor, and now she wasn't a virgin anymore. So once you weren't a virgin, you weren't allowed to marry anybody else in those times. So basically, we're not saying she was raped, because this was part of the, you know, part of the culture, but the king took her virginity, and there was no guarantee that she was going to be the queen. Well, long story short, she became the queen. But not only that, when she was there, her uncle, her cousin Mordecai worked for the king, and he overheard some plot against his life, and he shared it with Esther. Esther shared it with the king. Long story short, at the end of the day, because of that, the king had a favor that he owed Mordecai. And then this other guy was going to kill the Jewish people. And so she was sent to exile, right? Let's speak biblical terms. She was sent. Man, she was an orphan. You might be going through your life like, why am I going through all these things? I'm an orphan. I'm this. I got to leave my country. I got to go whatever. And she gets to this new place, and all of these things happen. It's a process. She might have, I don't know, but if you're watching and you're a woman, I know how I would be feeling. Dang, there's no guarantee that the king is going to marry me, and I'm in line with 40 other women. Now he took my virginity. This guarantees that I'm not going to be able to marry anybody else, and I'm going to have to become his sex slave, because that's what a concubine was. You understand what I'm saying? I need to know, like, does anybody have any comments? Like, does anybody have anything to say about that? Because that's some deep stuff. That is deep. So she had a calling on her life, but she didn't know this, right? Until that moment presented itself in her life where she had to make a decision. And she went before the king when she wasn't allowed to go before the king, because any woman who entered the place where the king and his men were would be killed on the spot. And she said, I don't care. I got to go in there. I got to open these doors. I got to walk in, and I got to save my people. And she did. So do you understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of things there. There's all these things that were working against her. And this woman ended up being the queen of Persia. Okay, let's go to Ruth. Ruth was married. Her husband died. Her mother-in-law had 2 sons. Both the sons and the husband died. So she was going to flee back home to Jerusalem. And Ruth said, I don't have anything here. I'm going to go with you. She was faithful. She was loyal to her mother-in-law. She said, I'm going to go with you. Well, she was a Moabite. And so now she was moving to Judah again as a foreigner. See, y'all don't understand. Like in church, we hear all these stories, but we don't really break it down. This woman, she believed that her relationship with God superseded tradition of the women, how we're supposed to be treated. Right. Exactly. Right. So that's why she, quote unquote, broke the rules. Right. So Ruth was a Moabite. So she was living as a foreigner now with her mother-in-law. And Naomi, not only was her mother-in-law, Naomi had a lot of influence over Ruth. She was her coach, right? But oftentimes we don't have coaches. What we have is a bunch of other bitter girlfriends that are in the same place that we are, or broke people that are in the same place that we are, or people with dysfunction and toxicity in their life. And that crap is so familiar to us that we accept those type of friendships. And we go out to wherever, dinner, happy hour, whatever, and all we talk is about the same crap. Every time we meet, it's the same crap, it's the same crap, it's the same crap. You still sleeping with the married guy. You still with the dude that ain't trying to marry you. You still enabling your kids. You still doing this. You still doing that. You still ain't got no job. You still trying to do this. You still worried about your stimulus check and all this other stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And so Naomi coached Ruth to position herself to win. Naomi said, hey, Boaz is the richest man here. or I think he was a rich man in the land. I don't know that the Bible says he was the richest man, but people like to say that. So he was rich and he owned that land where Naomi lived with Ruth. And Naomi said, you know what, go ahead. Ruth was like, you know what, I'm going to go work. I see the women picking up grain. I'm going to go, and Naomi said, okay, go ahead. Once she was out there, Naomi said, you know what, Boaz is our whatever, fourth cousin or third cousin. He was kin. They were kin. They were family. And so in those times, the next person to marry Ruth would have been her husband's brother. If there was no brother, then the cousin. If there was no cousin, then the second cousin or the third cousin. So because all of those people were removed, share with my Facebook family, must share. Because of those people were removed, Boaz was the next in line to marry Ruth. And wouldn't you know it, that Ruth ended up marrying Boaz, or Boaz ended up marrying Ruth. Naomi coached her and said, hey, go over there where Boaz can see you, and you go over there and pick up grain. And Boaz saw her and he was like, oh, snap, she's pretty, or whatever she said, whatever he said. And he instructed the men to leave grain for her that she could pick so she didn't have to work hard. And even said, when you get thirsty, you stop working, you go over there and drink from the same jug that my men drink from. Because, back then they didn't have coronavirus, so they could share the drinks. So he did that. And Ruth positioned herself to win. Okay, let's keep going. I want to stop there and teach something else, but I'm going to keep going. There's this woman in the Bible called Rahab. And Rahab was a harlot. She was a prostitute. And what happened with Rahab was that she was a Canaanite, and she was a harlot, and the Hebrews were camped across the valley from Jericho, and Joshua sent out 2 of his spies to examine the land and the fighting force of Jericho. So the spies went into the land and they found Rahab's house and they hid in her house. But why did they hide in their house? It was a great place for the spies to hide because Rahab was a known prostitute. So it was known, it was normal for men to be coming in and out of that house late at night. So it wasn't suspicious. Okay, it wasn't suspicious. So the spies were men of God. Now, Rahab perceived it was manipulative. Rahab knew exactly what she was doing. She perceived these guys are here to overtake our land. And she said to them, hey, I know that the Lord has given you this land and there's a great fear has fallen upon us. And so that everybody who lives in this country is in fear of you because they knew that they were about to go to war. And she said, if I hide you here, please swear to me by the Lord that you will show kindness to my family. Okay, because I have shown kindness to you. The people came, the men were hidden in her house. They did not die. They were able to go back, and she said to them, give me a sure sign that you will spare the lives of my father and my mother, my brothers and my sisters, and all who belong to them, and that you will save us from death. Okay, so listen, this is a story right here. She said, because I saved you guys, I need you to swear by the Lord that you will spare me. Have you done something at your job, at your regular job? Whatever credit for that idea. I remember working in sales line, and I gave an account, a very good account to a colleague, to a coworker. And I distinctly recall saying, I gave you this account, but when you go take credit for it, you better say Linda gave it to me, right? Because if you don't do that, I'm not going to throw you any more bones. There's nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing wrong with you saying, hey man, I did this for you. I need to make sure that you're going to be having my back. Now, are you going to do that every single time? No, you have to look at the scenario that happened here. So Rahab, they said to Rahab, yeah, I got you. When we come in here and when we go to war, you make sure that you have a red string on your window, on your door, whatever, and my men will know that your house, we're not going to mess with it. And so that's exactly okay. But Rahab was a prophet, and somehow in her house. And also, generations later, Jesus is a descendant of Rahab's lineage, bloodline, because she was chosen. She was chosen as a prostitute to hide the men of God in her house. And there was a purpose for her. And not only did she ask the men in her worldly fashion, non-spiritual, non-Christian, non-godly, she said, hey, I need y'all to take care of me like I took care of y'all. But God took care of her by giving her this pride of eons later, after she was dead. Jesus comes from her bloodline, right? So in today's world, I could say, get yourself into ancestry.com so some people can know who their great grandmama was. Right. So today you don't have to worry about God bringing amazing stuff from your bloodline. You could be dead and people will still know about you. If you put your voice and your face on YouTube, if you start making videos, if you write a book, I mean, there's so many ways that you can write your own story and be the master of your destiny. We're no longer waiting on spies to come into our home so we could protect them and God can have favor on us because he died on the cross to give us his mercy and his love and all of that stuff. We don't have to do that. But I'm telling you, so what's that? Woman number 3. That's woman number 3. Okay. So I closed out a window that I had some notes on. Let me go find it. Because I'm about to talk to you about Deborah. Who was Deborah? Deborah was a judge. Okay. Man, let me see here. I had my notes. Where did it go? Okay. Deborah was a judge. Okay. She was a prophetess. She was a judge. And long story short, there was another war. Okay. The people of Israel had been oppressed by the king of Canaan and they were about to go to war. And Sisera was the leader of the army for Jabin, who was the king of Canaan, right? And Deborah, being a prophetess, she prophesied and she said, go, this is the day that the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you? And Barak, she spoke to Barak, which was her right-hand man, the leader of her army. And she prophesied to Barak and she said, we have to go to war. Okay, the Lord God has said that we are going to this fight, Barak. And Barak said, I will not go if you do not go with me. Let me see what was the exact words that he said. I'm trying to see my notes. Barak declines to go without the prophetess. Deborah consents, but she says, now listen to this one more again. Let me give it to you one more again. Deborah says, okay, I will go, but the glory and the victory will therefore belong to a woman. Okay. Are you listening to me? Why are you in relationships with men that are walking all over you? Why are you scared to tell a man whatever is on your mind or the type of criteria that he needs to meet or your criteria? Why are you afraid? Deborah said, I will go, but let it be known that when we win, the glory and the victory will belong to a woman. And he was like, great, I'm not going without you. Not only did they defeat the army, but and Barak fled on foot. Like they won this war, like so hands down amazingly that he fled on foot. He didn't need no horse. He wasn't running from nobody. There was nobody attacking him. But Sisera, he fled, right? Because he didn't die. And he made it to this lady's tent. Her name was Jael. And he lays down to rest in her tent, and he asks her for a drink. So she gives him milk. And while he's asleep, she hammers a tent pin through his temple. So this war was won by two amazing women. And the only time you hear this lady's name, Jael, is in the book of Judges, when you're reading the story of this war that Deborah went to and defeated and came back and won. Deborah was not no rinky-dink woman. She was a badass. So I need to know, if you're watching me, what's going through your mind? Like, are you listening to me and you're like, Linda's crazy? Or have you ever heard these women of the Bible being portrayed the way that I am portraying them to you? The way that I'm talking? I'm like, I need to know. Is there, like, you got a comment with, like, what's up? I need to see. And then finally, we're going to talk about Proverbs 31, right? Everyone in Proverbs likes, or everyone in church likes to hang on to, many women do noble things, or what's the thing? Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised, right? In Spanish is engañosa es la whatever, y vana la hermosura, y la mujer que teme a Jehová, esa será alabada. But nobody really worries about the entire chapter of Proverbs 31, where it says that she has a noble character, where it says that her husband has full confidence and lacks nothing of value. Okay, he has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good and not harms all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax, and she works with her eager hands. She's like merchant ships. She brings the food from afar. She gets up when it's still dark. She doesn't sleep till 11:30 in the morning. She gets up while it's still dark, and she provides food for her family and portions for her servant girls. Because guess what? She doesn't treat her workers like crap. They're not beneath her. She wakes up earlier than the girls do, and she makes them food and their portions. Are you listening to that? She considers a field and she buys it. Like, she buys land. That's what that means. She looks at a piece of land and she buys it. And from her earnings, she plants a vineyard. So she be working that money. She makes that money and she flips it and she continues to make more money. She flips it and reverse it and she makes that money because she went and she plants a vineyard. She goes about her work vigorously because her arms are strong for the task. She's not lazy. She sees that her trading is profitable. She's a merchant. She trades. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. So she don't got to blow out no lamp because there's no oil, because she got plenty of oil, because she's got money, because her trading is profitable. She's not waiting on food stamps. And she's not asking her husband for permission to use the debit card to buy something that the babies need. She makes it happen. In her hand, she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. So she's not a jerk. She's not, well, I got all this money, y'all could go get yours. She helps people that are in need. When it snows and it's cold, she has no fear for her household because all of them are clothed in scarlet. Okay? She makes coverings for her bed. So she makes nice thick blankets, and she herself is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate. They're like, yo, that brother right there, his wife, woo, man, I wish I had a wife like that, right? She makes linen garments and she sells them, and she supplies the merchants with sashes, right? She speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction, and she watches over the affairs of her household, and she does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed, and her husband also praises her. That is the entire verse of Proverbs. She's not lazy. She's not sleeping till noon. She's not worried about what a man did to her, and she's not taking care of no jerk. This verse doesn't say go find you a man that's been in and out of jail and go take care of him and pay for his bills and clothe him in fine linen and provide food for him. That Bible verse doesn't say that. But I'm wondering, is that the Bible verse, the Bible chapter that the women who take care of men and live with men and they pay for their bills, is that the Bible verse that they read? Because it is nowhere in the Bible does it say that. It says that you need to be amazing, that you have power and influence. Esther used her power to save her people as the queen of Persia. Ruth used her power and positioned herself to win, because if she was provided for, her mother-in-law would be provided for. Well, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Right? So get out of here with that mess. Like, oh, I can't really wish that I would marry a man that has money or has things. Well, because you need to be a woman of value and you need to also bring something to the table. None of these women were women that don't bring anything to the table. Rahab was a prostitute. Rahab had a lot of value and a calling on her life to keep those men safe. And not only was she rewarded by her and her family not being killed, but she was able. Obviously, she was dead and she did not know. But from her bloodline comes Jesus. From a prostitute? Yeah. Exactly. Then Deborah. Deborah was a judge. And Deborah sent a man to go to war. And he said to her, I will go, but I won't go without you. She said, I will go too. But when we win this war, the victory will go to a woman. So, don't be acting like you went out there. I'll have to come back and say, I won this war. Not only did she win the war, but Jael helped her. Some random woman that is never mentioned in the Bible. By the way, let me go back, reverse. There are 2 books in the Bible that God is not even mentioned in. Esther and the Song of Solomon are those 2 books. That just came in my head. So God wasn't even mentioned at all in these Bible books. But there were women in these books that were freaking badass. And then you have the Proverbs 31 woman, right? And then you have Mary in the New Testament. And, and in the New Testament, we have other women, but, Mary Magdalene and just, she was used to go talk to Mary, and she touched Mary's belly and the baby leapt and all that stuff like that. Women are not just like random. We're not just like have no power and have no say so, and we're supposed to be subservient and be a doormat. We are supposed to make money. We are supposed to consider a field and buy it. We're not supposed to have jacked up credit. We're not supposed to pay for some loser to run our credit to the ground. We're not supposed to take care of grown kids, grown adult kids. Your 32-year-old son or daughter that's living in the house with their 3 babies, with 2 baby daddies or 2 baby mamas, or in and out of jail. You're not supposed to do that. Or playing PlayStation all day long, and he's 28 years old, sitting on your couch, using your power and eating your food and your Wi-Fi and your electricity and not doing anything, taking your car in the middle of the night, wrecking it. What are you saying? Yes, Song of Solomon, very intimate. I need to watch this from the beginning. Cool, Susana. So why did Linda feel like she was going to come on live tonight and talk about these women? Because you need to know that you have power as a woman, you have influence, and you are persuasive. All of these women use their persuasive powers. I didn't even talk about Delilah. Okay. Because let me tell you something. And I've said this to plenty of my clients when I was a relationship coach. And there's a cute commercial that I don't know if it's a Messengill or if it's Summer's Eve. You know what? Let me look it up, because I can show you better than I can tell you. I'm about to share this. I'm about to share my screen and show you guys this commercial. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Let me find out how to do it so y'all could just see. I could show you better than I can tell you. My goodness. Let me see if I can share my screen on here. Okay, yes. Let me see here. Screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. Yeah, well, no, I don't have. Sharing audio from a Chrome tab works best. Oh, I don't know if it's going to. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it's not going to work. Sorry. I thought I could do it here on StreamYard. StreamYard, get with it. Well, it's a commercial. It's from Summer's Eve, and it's titled, you can go search it after we get off this live stream. It's titled Hail to the V. And the V refers to vagina, because, you know, that's what Messengill and Summer's Eve products do. They wash the coochie. So the power of the V, and you'll watch the commercial and you will laugh, and you'll see that. And empires have come down. Wars have been started because of what's between your legs. But someone in the church told you, and your parents, that what's in between your legs, if you use it one time, then you lost all your power and you ain't good no more. And some man ain't gonna want you. And like all of your value is between your legs. So they try to take it from you by telling you that, oh, once you use it, it's not valuable anymore. It is valuable all day, every day, until you stop breathing. You are a woman with power, with influence and persuasion, and you have boobs and you have a behind, and you need to use everything that God gave you to go do what you need to do in this life. Period. What did they say? Didi said, Didi says, put the link in the comments so we can look at it. Oh, okay. Look at you. Smart. I'm not doing this on my computer, but maybe I can. See, Didi is pushing me out here. Didi is pushing me to learn some things. See if I could do it. Let me see.
I posted.
You posted it?
The link, yeah.
The link? Okay, cool. Summer's Eve Hail to the V commercial is in there. So y'all should be able to see it. Hey, can you put it on Facebook too? Oh, you put it on Facebook. Great. Thank you. There you guys go. Watch the commercial. It's funny. Okay, but it's true. So many women come to me and they say, Linda, I want to make money like you're making money. Okay, hold up. Let me pause. That's why I don't have a problem coming on here and saying, oh my God, I had a $25,000 a month. Not because I'm bragging, but because like you, I dreamt of $25,000 months for a long time. I dreamt of having them consistently. I dreamt of getting out of the barely making $3,000 one month and then struggling. So you understand what I'm saying? I have goals just like you. I didn't just poof, wake up one day and got here. So for some people to say, you know, that's good for you, but you should stop saying that because we're in the middle of a pandemic and you bragging about how much money you make is awful. Sit your ass down. And instead of being triggered by me, hire me to learn how you can do it too. Because you were given the power to print money on demand, to make your own money. You need to buy a field, consider it. You need to sell linen. You need to plant a vineyard. You need to do that. It takes money. Proverbs 31 clearly states repeatedly that her business is profitable. She buys a field. She turns the money around and plants a vineyard. She buys linen. She buys. It's like over and over again. Proverbs 31 tells you that you need to be having your own money. You need to be in business. That woman was in business for herself. So the women that come to me and they're like, I have a business, but I don't know what to do. I'm in church. I'm scared to charge, whatever. You don't need to be scared to charge. What you need to do is learn a skill that will teach you how to sell. You need to learn the skill that will teach you how to sell. The wonderful thing about skills is that you can go learn them. Nobody was born with a skill. No one. No one is born walking, right? So no one is born, you weren't born with a skill. And I know that if you're watching me right now, you are a grown woman and you know that you have developed skill sets in your adult life. You've learned to do things in your adult life. And you might be watching me and have been to prison before or whatever, and you know that you're never going back there. So you know, because your life has proven to you over and over again that you can learn new skills and you can activate those skills. There's nothing scary about selling. What's scary is that you're not confident in selling. So you say, I'm scared to sell. Yeah, you're scared to sell because you don't know what to say, right? And so when I launched Print Money on Demand in March, well, it actually started in April, but I launched it in March. I did not realize that it would turn into something that I would launch again because there would be a need. Because see, what happened was that my people in Print Money on Demand are getting results, right? 3 weeks in, Danielle sells $10,700. 2 weeks in, Jillian closes paid in full for $2,000. These are women who were struggling. One of them didn't have any clients since November. And the other was like, I don't think I want to sell anything through the pandemic because I don't want to, bother my tribe. I don't think people have money. And then she gets, boom, paid in full client at $2,000. Because why? Because they learned my 25K script, the script that I used to close $25,000 in sales in Messenger, right? I taught that. So if you've been following me for any time and you've ever listened to any of my business coachings, I will tell you that you need to earn while you learn. So what happened? I launched an offer during the pandemic. I didn't realize I would be earning while I was learning because I didn't realize that my tribe really wanted something entry level like this. So I have at least 7 people in my messenger asking, Linda, are you going to do Print Money on Demand again? Because why? Why is it that we sit on the sidelines and we watch? Let me watch somebody do it first. Let me see if they're going to get results. It's not enough that I know that Linda's been getting results. Let me see if her people are going to get results. Damn, her people are getting results. Hey, Linda, are you going to do this again? Is the price going to be the same? The price is going to be the same from now until the early bird thing is gone. And then when the early bird pricing is gone, it's going to go up $1,000. So right now, it is still $2,000 to do Print Money on Demand for 8 weeks. And what is my big promise? That you're going to master selling, not just in Messenger and in social media. You're going to master selling. You need to learn how to sell, period. That's my big promise. So you're definitely going to make back your money. It's $2,000. There's a payment plan for you if you want it, but it's not, I don't have a sales page for it because everybody is not qualified to join. So the way to qualify to come join me in my program is this. Let me see. Is it running there? To go book a call with me at bit.ly/speak with Linda. Because I don't come live on here to teach people that, oh, Linda's making money. She's so awesome. She's better than you. Hey, brag. I want you to do it too. Because you can too. I'm a single mom. You're a single mom. Hey, I'm a single mom too. Hey, guess what? Let me tell you what. The amount of text messages that are coming through to me and my best friend with people saying, did you get your stimulus check? Yesterday, I went to my P.O. box with my best friend, and there was a letter in there, God knows from when, probably from a week or 2 ago, because that was the last time I went, and it said something about, hey, you qualify for a stimulus check. But I don't know when I'm going to get it because the bank account that I used for my taxes a year ago is closed. And I am not worried about a stimulus check. As a matter of fact, I was able to bless my mom with the rest of her stimulus check. Y'all, if you want to watch the live stream, you can go watch it. I did it last week. So you don't need to be worried about a stimulus check because you can be your own stimulus and you can create your own economy during the pandemic. If you have a proven thing that you do, if you have already had clients that have paid you and you just don't know how to raise your rates and how to make this money, then you need to come be part of Print Money on Demand because it's not going to be $2,000. It's not going to stay at that price. And I'm just really excited. And I wanted to come in here and talk to Christian women specifically because so many of them are connected to me here on Facebook. And you need to stop with the excuses. First of all, you need to leave those nasty relationships that you're in. Second of all, you need to level up because you were created to level up. As a matter of fact, at the very beginning of the Bible in Genesis, God says that, hey, with the sweat of your brow, you shall eat. If your brow is sweating, that means you're working. So you need to be working. And that thing that you're scared of, see, because for many, many, many years, all my life, even till right now, people tell me, Linda, you're so crazy. Linda, man, you always saying stuff. But you know what? My inbox is full after I go live. People won't comment because they don't want to be judged by their friends on Facebook. They don't want their friends to see that I like what Linda's saying. But my messenger, it explodes every time I do live stream from people be like, girl, you telling the truth. Girl, you're so crazy, but I love it. Girl, I just love you're so straight. So are you, but you're still hiding. You're not being authentic. Let me tell you something. I didn't even know what the hell authentic. I didn't even know that authentic was going to be part of a brand. And for many years, I heard people say, man, you got to be yourself in your brand. You got to be yourself in your brand. And I tried to water myself down all that time. And because I watered myself down, I was attracting people that I did not like working with, were just so heavy because I had to continue being the person that attracted them, right? But when I let go of that and I started stepping into who I am fully, because God didn't make no mistake when he made me. He knew he made me feisty, and I'm a shit talker. Oh, I'm supposed to, y'all gonna pray the shit talking piece of me out? That's needed. It's needed in the kingdom to tell some people some things, right? You need bold people. You need people like Peter that are gonna hop out of the boat and they're gonna walk on water. And you need faithful friends like Peter too. Right? I was telling my best friend the other night, everybody's always concerned about Peter. Oh, Peter denied Jesus. I would have denied them too if somebody was trying to kill me. Are we really going to lie to ourselves? I love Jesus so much that I would have been so okay if somebody was like, hey, you know that guy Jesus? Because if you do, and you say you do, I'm killing you right here on the spot. Jesus? Yeah, I don't know. I heard of him. Because Jesus told me last night, guess what? Before the rooster, before the crow, whatever, before he sings 3 times, you're going to deny me. I'd have been like, that Jesus is telling the truth, man. Man, he's always telling the truth. That guy is great. Right? But see, when I say stuff like this, people be like, wow, man, shut up. You wouldn't even die for, man, let me be quiet. I'm not even going to go, right? I'm not even going to go there. So everybody always focuses on Peter and all the bad things. Peter was the only person other than Jesus to walk on water. All the other disciples did like everybody on Facebook. They stayed in the boat watching. Oh, snap. That looks cool. And then everybody focuses on, oh, Peter didn't have enough faith. You ain't got no faith. You waiting on a stimulus check. Why are you talking about Peter? So, yeah. That's the reason that because I talk this way is probably why I don't belong in anyone's pulpit, because I will hurt people's feelings. But it's the truth. If I can open up the church of the Latter-day Puerto Rican saints, or, the Latter-day folks, then I might have a church. So if you have any questions, let me know. I don't see any questions here. Let me see. Nope, no questions. Man, I'm always like blown away how it's not just my live stream. I see how, everybody watches people going live and they're scared to ask questions or ask questions. I'm here. But is anybody on Periscope? No? Okay, cool. Well, listen, if you want to make sure that 2020 is different for your business, I was just telling my friend, 2020 is just getting started. We're in the beginning of May. We're not even at the halfway mark, man. Coronavirus came, so it's not stopping my goals for 2020. Like, it's not stopping my goals for 2020. So, coronavirus is here. So, okay. So, what's it going to be for you? Did you give up on 2020? Because if you did, do not schedule a call with me. Obviously, I don't talk to people who are like, oh, this is not therapy or anything like that. When we get on the call, we will figure out if your business is at a place that you can successfully launch something, that you can create a cash injection in your business, This is why I don't have a sales page. This is why everybody can't just go book a call. You have to talk to me. We have to see what's going on in your business. If you qualify, and if you do, boom, then I send you to your page and you can make your payment. Okay. I'm excited. I love you. Thank you for catching me live. I appreciate the people that stayed on with me from beginning to end. And that's it. This was your chance to ask me some questions, guys. I hope to get some calls scheduled here soon with you guys so I can walk some of you to your next level. Thanks for catching me. And we shall, let me see, what does it say right here? Somebody posted a question. Let me see. I had someone tell me after seeing my post advertising my services and travel business, are you aware of what's going on out there? Yeah. I don't even answer to people like that. You know what I'm saying? They just, I would unfriend that person actually, but you know, I'm gangster. So yeah, thanks for catching me live, guys. You guys are awesome. And I will catch you on the next live stream. See ya.